Hey, welcome to another Smiley Minute. I just got back from Canada where they legalized marijuana on Wednesday. So I was kind of worried about going through customs, and sure enough, they asked me if I had any drugs, and I said no, and they gave me some. It was kind of weird. Anyway, and I'd also heard that Canadians were super nice, but I just got in a fight with one of them when I was over there. The fight was over which one of us got to hold the door for the other one. And then the guy suggested that we calm down and go to Tim Hortons and settle it over coffee. That didn't work because we both fought over who got to pay. So the fight continued. But anyway, it is so great to be back in the United States of America where we get to... Let's get to the news. Let's start the Smiley Minute with a footnote. Southwest Airlines flight makes an emergency landing after alleged unwanted Footsie game. Here's the story. A man from it doesn't matter where he's from. He caused a Southwest Airlines flight to be diverted because he wouldn't stop playing footsie with a female passenger sitting next to him. Justin Bradford had OD'd on heroin just a few days before, and so you can't really blame him because Southwest Airlines' motto is, want to get away? He evidently did, so he took a flight. Unfortunately, he also took some meth, and he was baked out of his head. He wouldn't leave the female passenger he was sitting next to alone, even following her after flight attendants had moved the lady to a different seat. The plane was diverted to Albuquerque, where he was arrested. Bradford now faces up to 20 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. But, of course, even worse, the biggest punishment is he had to go to Albuquerque. Speaking of angry females, in Indianapolis, a lioness killed the father of her 3 cubs at a zoo. The lions, they lived at the zoo. They weren't visiting. Anyway, Zuri, a female lion, had lived with Nak, a male lion, for 8 years. When she had had enough, clamped her jaws around his neck and suffocated him, it says, for 4 minutes, which I find this hard to believe because I've never seen a female go 4 minutes without talking. The news stated that the male lion had been cheating on her with several models. No, wait, that's not the lion story. That was Tiger. Lisa Loftus notified me of this news item coming from my home away from home, St. Louis, Missouri. That's where Hawkins lives. I fly in there all the time. I actually love their airport because I know where the one secret outlet plug is hidden. Anyway, the Six Flags there held a coffin contest where contestants could come, they lay in a coffin, and whoever stayed in the coffin the longest won a coffin and 2 season passes to Six Flags for a year. I wonder how many old guys with bronchitis showed up thinking it was a coughing contest. Anyway, at the 30-hour mark, there were 6 contestants still left, and so they just decided to award all 6 of them their own coffin and the season passes. I thought it was interesting because 2 of the winners were actually funeral directors, which I think is kind of unfair because once you go pro, you shouldn't be able to compete in the minors. Beverly Robinson sent in some Boston news. I've got some Boston news that never changes. There are no parking spaces. Anyway, police captured an alligator, python, and 2 tarantulas at Comic-Con, where the owner of the reptiles was charging people for taking pictures with the creatures. Police were called because a girl at Comic-Con was startled by the python whenever it squeezed her really tight. This actually sounds like fake news to me. Come on. A girl at Comic-Con? Houston got a new business in called the Good Boy Dog Beer Company. They launched this month, and they make beer for dogs. This is a true story. And I hear their Mailman malt liquor is really good. I mean, seriously, do we need drunk dogs stumbling around our streets? And I almost caught that car. Hey, is that cat looking at me? You looking at me? We don't need that. And finally, several people sent me this article, and it is my favorite one so far of all the Smiley Minutes. A Kansas man robbed a bank in hopes he'd get arrested just to get away from his wife. He even wrote the note at home in front of his wife and told her, quote, "I'd rather be in jail than at home." Lawrence John Ripple, sounds like he had some Ripple, age 70, walked into the Bank of Labor just down the street from the police headquarters. He actually picked a bank close to the police headquarters in Kansas City with a note demanding money and that he had a gun. The teller took it serious, which, you know, she should have, and handed him $3,000 in cash, and Mr. Ripple didn't know what to do. So he just took the money and just stood there, and then he walked out in the lobby, and he just waited. And finally, the police showed up and did arrest him. Here's the best part. He was convicted and sentenced to, wait for it, 6 months of house arrest with his wife. Whoop. Full circle.
Hey, what are you doing?
Hey, I'm finishing the Smiley Minute.
Oh, then what are you going to do?
I'm going to go to the bank. Anyway, that's it for this week's Smiley Minute. Put out weekly, always a minute or less. And, and again, huge thanks to Steven Saki for this phone mount that makes doing the Smiley Minute so much easier. He sent that through our wedding registry on Amazon. And I also want to thank all of you guys out there for not only like praying for us and celebrating with us, but we're getting gifts every single day from that. So, man, thank you guys for loving on us. Keep sending me strange news. You can send it to bob@bobsmiley.com.
Ding!
She dinged me from the kitchen. Anyway, I hope you guys are smiling a lot this week, or at least for a minute today.
A Smiley Minute.
In November.
Hey, I'm making pumpkin cookies.
Okay. I have to do a promo video for a show I have coming up. Oh, by the way, I just recorded the whole Smiley Minute. Not one blooper. That's how it's done.
No way.
She can cook.
Huh, that'll be the day.